peace, love, light, and darkness be unto you. Greetings. This is Empress Queen Kenya coming to you, live recorded on YouTube. Blessed day. I greet you with love. Today, for the Soulspiration, we are going to be talking about staying grounded through traumatic times. The major focus is to stay grounded at all times, but specifically talking about staying grounded through traumatic times. Now, what I would like to say is, if you are one who watches the news regularly, that might not be something that you want to do. If you are one who keeps up with the world news and the times regularly, that might not be something that you want to do. Especially if you are trying to keep your anxiety and depression levels balanced. Why am I saying this to you? Let me explain. Unfortunately, the world system that we live in, they like to perpetuate things and exaggerate things in a way whereas things seem worse than what they often are. Or they will harp on a particular event in a season of time focused on a minority group or a focus group with a set intention and agenda. And I know you might be saying, whereas for me, I might be a conspiracy theorist, but if you pay attention to most of the things that people who are called upon as conspiracy theorists, if you really listen to them long enough and research for yourself and put the facts together, you can find that there's a lot of truth in what we speak. So let me say this. If you are enlightened, if you have awakened, if you are experiencing some awakening and enlightenment symptoms, if you are going through a transition of awakening, this is going to be very important. If you already woke, then you know what I'm talking about. If you only woke a little bit and you're growing and you need support, resources, tools, then this is going to help you. Listen to me when I tell you this is an everyday struggle for a lot of people, especially those who are empaths, who have been called to fulfill services within this realm of humanity. We all have a purpose in life. Don't get it twisted. However, as I always say, everyone plays a role. I love that saying by William Shakespeare. The world is all a stage, and every person is an actor. Everybody plays their role. The key is to find out which role you're playing. I'm trying not to be all over the place with this, but I really want you to grasp exactly what I'm saying. So I'm going to go slow. But I really want you to get this. Understand that in this world, there is a system. That is a system that is set up to govern people, to govern their minds, to govern their consciousness, to govern their emotions, their spirit, their souls. Now, with this system, there comes great reckoning. These people who have created this system and who operated in it heavily, this is not a new game. They have been in this for a long time. So they know how to play it, and they play it well. And they've had opportunity after opportunity to enhance their gameplays. So when you see politics in action, that's one of their sectors of operation. When you see the entertainment industry in action, that's another sector of their operation. When you see the media, news, reports, that is another sector of their operation. When you see incited and perpetuated events, police brutality, mass shootings, outbreaks of diseases, shortages of food, outbreaks. I already said outbreaks of diseases, but it's so many versions of diseases. It is imperative that you understand the importance of being aware of these things. So let me tell you, there are events that will happen in life continuously over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because life has this thing that we call cycles, and it happens. So people are born, they live, they die. People are born, they live, they die. It's a cycle. It happens over and over again. Now, in this world that we live in, there are a lot of events that happen that we're often unaware of. People are always dying, unfortunately, but fortunately. Sometimes the way that people die can be very horrific and painful for their loved ones. Sometimes it's very graphic. Sometimes there are mass shootings, more now than ever before. Before, to me, in this day and age, mass shootings are like lynchings back in the day. But nobody wasn't worried about those who was getting lynched. It's a new version of lynchings on a whole nother level. Police brutality had been a thing for the last several years that was harped upon. That's when the whole Black Lives Matter movement came. All of these things that happen that bring forth certain ideas, movements, race wars, they're all governed by hidden agendas. And I know this may sound strange to some, but you have to understand that the world that you live in is not actually what you think it is. In order for you to truly understand where you are and from whence you came, you truly have to take a look within yourself. You truly have to spend time with yourself and get to know yourself. Speak to your spirit and pay attention to your surroundings. And when I say that, I mean the nature of your surroundings. Not necessarily the people or the environment or like the culture or the news. What I'm talking about is becoming one with humanity and Mother Gaia herself. Now listen, I'm saying all this to say, I'll give you examples of what I'm talking about. In the last couple of weeks, there have been subway shootings. There have been school shootings. There have been formula shortages of baby food. There have been church shootings. Just in the last couple of weeks, in the last month alone, in America. That's in America. That's what's being publicized. That's not even to say what's going on in other countries. So when I speak of what I speak, know this. 9 times out of 10, I'm talking about what's going on in America because that's where I'm at. And that's what I know is happening. What's being told that's what's happening. Because something is always happening. Something is always happening. We're just not always aware or being informed. Sometimes we're informed about specific things at the right time to infuse anxiety, to infuse anger, fear. If you pay attention to the cycle of how things are brought to the forefront and to whom the targeted audiences are, then perhaps you'll understand even better. The system was created to perpetuate energy so that energy could continue to flow in a way so that the earth could continue to flow in a way whereas it would continue to exist. Because without the energy of certain beings, this planet would be non-existent by now. So in order to keep the planet in an existence that is fulfilling, in a sense, to humanity, these people have come up with an idea, and they say, we will target the melanin beings because they are powerful. And when they are ignited in a negative or a positive way, the energy that they project into this world will be a source of fuel that we can use. We are made of energy. We are vibration and frequency. And if we are vibrating low, then there are some things that we might not have access to consciously. But if we begin to vibrate high, then there's greater understanding and knowing that we shall have. Now let me tell you this. This is what I do know. Everybody is not going to be on the enlightened and awakened tip. Everybody's not going to wake up. It's not meant for everybody to wake up. It's like in the Bible when they say the poor you always have. Some of the people that's poor, they weren't talking about poverty. They were talking about in the mental states, in the consciousness. Because being wealthy is knowing thyself. It's having an awakening. It's being enlightened. That's what it means to be wealthy and rich to me. If I know my power, I am rich. I am wealthy. If I know how to operate in my power, I am even more rich and more wealthy. So to say the poor you will always have among you, that means there are always going to be somebody somewhere who is not as intuitive, informed, educated, or understanding themselves, how this world works, how powerful they are, how they can operate in their power. Some will never know. Some are only here just to exist. Everybody is not here to serve a purpose of fulfillment of humanity in a sense of helping. Some people are here just to exist and be wicked. That is their purpose, because you cannot have light without darkness. You cannot have good without evil. There must be balance. And so, yes, it hurts sometimes when people do what we would call horrific things to our loved ones, or just to people in general. It would seem insane to be okay with the idea of genocide. It would seem insane to be okay with the idea of slavery. But these are the things within this world that has come about, and like a repetitive cycle constantly repeat itself. Why am I saying all of this? Why? Why does it matter? Because somebody out there somewhere can relate, and they like me. I was given a purpose in this life. And one of my purposes is to share my life experiences, to operate in my gifts as best that I can. Let me fix my shirt. To operate in my gifts and to be of service. In order for me to be of service, I have to make sure that I am healthy. Mentally, spiritually, emotionally. That takes work, self-work for me to do, that I need to do on a daily basis. There are times when I have to remind myself of who I am and the power that I have within me. Because if I spend too much time in the world, plugged in, then I can lose myself and become a part of the systematic programming all over again. What is the systematic programming, you ask? It's the programs that are set in place to keep you distracted from knowing who you are. TV, entertainment, news, culture, trends, fashion, all these things. But you have to know how to separate yourself from what it is and what you are. I am in this world. I am not of the world. I am in this world. I am not of this world. What does that mean? That means I am a spiritual being having a natural flesh experience in this body. And so because I am in this body and I exist in this realm, there are some things that I may be accustomed to doing because of the places where I was born, the government system that I live inside of. But beyond all that, I was born free. I have a birthright. But this country I live in, the people that run the country behind the government and the politics, they like to think otherwise. Because the bottom line is that they want the power, the energy sources, the tools, the resources, all of that. They want it for themselves. It's always spiritual warfare going on. Always. Always. And I hope, I really hope that y'all are still with me. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. How do you stay grounded in all of this? Don't watch the news. Don't listen to the radio. All of that is programming. Radio programming. That's why they call it programming. TV programming. That's why they call it programming. Because all it does is program you to think a certain way, to see a certain way, to believe a certain way. But once you realize what it is and you can begin to separate yourself from that, still watch it, but have an understanding of knowing who you are, then that makes all the difference. But if you're going to watch the news and see all the things that they show, and then be scared to leave your house or always worried, you know, it's only so much news you can watch because it's the same thing over and over and over. They show the same news stories over and over and over again. The news is depressing. I don't see how people watch it. Honestly, I don't. When I was young, I wanted to write. I still love to write. I'm an author. I wanted to become a journalist, so I went to college for journalism, mass communications and journalism. I figured that would be the perfect career for me because I love to write. As from what I was told as a child, how to seek a career according to the passion and desires of thine heart. So, I went to college to seek out a bachelor's degree for mass communications and journalism. What I found out when I got into the journalism program was that I didn't want to do what would be required of me to do. The way the stories are told. Yes, they're going to get information and most times to bring it back to you and relay it, but it's far greater than what you could ever imagine. I'm not going to even waste my time to talk about it. What I learned for myself, because I am the being that I am, that I couldn't in truth and be in truth with myself, seek that kind of career and do the kind of work that it was requiring of me to do, it wasn't going to work for me. So I had to find a way to still fulfill my passion of writing, because it was there. I have a desire to write. So I became an author. I started writing fictional books. I write poetry. I write fiction novels, short stories. I'm even working on some self-help books to soon come. But I had to find another avenue to write. Gaining all the information that I got from going to school and learning about mass communication and journalism, I got it. Something I got educated on. I have the knowledge, but I don't particularly need it to operate in my everyday today living or to pursue a career. Now, if I found an opportunity that I felt in my spirit that would represent me well with humanity and I would be in alignment with the calling upon my life, then I would pursue that. And if I could still use my expertise, from what I learned in journalism school, then hey, I would do that. But just to be like the one behind the scenes writing the scripts that the TV anchors read, or to actually be a TV anchor on the news, or the one who's like the investigative reporter who goes out to get the story, I couldn't do that. When I started waking up and I realized what they were truly requiring, I didn't want to be the one to perpetuate those stories out to the public that way. I didn't want my name or my energy associated with those things. I couldn't do it. Some people can. That's on them. That's not me. You got to know who you are. I know who I am. So, another thing. How do we stay grounded? Let's get to that. How do we stay grounded? This is what you do. Don't associate yourself with things that will pull you from being true to you. That's number one. Number two. Don't allow yourself to be overstimulated by the things that are projected in the media, on social media, news media, radio media, wherever it is. Do not allow yourself to be overexposed to it. Stay grounded. Yes, there was a shooting at an elementary school this week. There was one a couple of years back too. There was one a couple of weeks back somewhere else that you didn't hear about. There's always something going on. But as a collective, just because it's presented before you in the time that it's presented before you, it does not mean that you have to start panicking and going into this mindset. Oh my God, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. This keeps happening over. It's going to keep happening. It's never going to stop. That's the sad part. You have to realize that it's not going to stop. There will always be a version of a thing with the same kind of energy that might affect you the same kind of way. There's always going to be a thing. In this age, it's mass shootings, police brutality, food shortages, viruses. And in ages ago, some are similar, but different ways. Segregation, civil rights movements, slavery, the Great Depression, World War II. And even before then, other things. Like, what I'm telling you is it never ends. There's always something. So in the midst of there always being something, how are you going to remain grounded? How are you going to keep your sanity? Focus on you. Focus on your household. Focus on the health and the well-being of your family. Do things that you love to do. Bring joy within your being. Live while you yet live and celebrate the living. Do not harp and focus upon those who have gone. Allow yourself to mourn, feel the emotions, especially if it's a loved one of yours. But keep it moving. And I'm not saying this to be insensitive. I'm saying this so that you can understand the importance of you vibrating high. If you're constantly being exposed to bad news all the time, then it's going to bring your vibration and frequency down. And then when your vibration and frequencies come down, your immune system comes down. You're more susceptible to receive viruses and illnesses and get sick, especially if you already not eating healthy. The foods that they put out in the markets for us to eat, what are these foods? I can go from one extreme to the other. I have these thoughts. What are these foods? And so some of us, when we get depressed or we start feeling a kind of way, we begin to eat, and then we eating stuff that's not healthy. It causes us to be obese. Our face start breaking out. We got high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all kind of stuff going on the inside. Liver all messed up. Intestines all jacked up. Like everything just start going haywire. But you don't even know what's going on because you don't have health care and you ain't going to see nobody. You're not going to see about yourself. And then there's some of us who are going to see about ourselves. And then we let them tell us all this stuff because that's just a whole nother thing too. Another sector of the agenda, the big pharmaceuticals, because they trying to have everybody and their mama on everything, and everything has a side effect. So you have to understand the importance of thriving in this life. You have to know yourself. You got to understand how your body works. Read some stuff for yourself. Educate yourself. Understand how this vessel works. Read some science books. Get acquainted with your being. Understand what it takes for you to thrive in this world. Plant some food yourself. Create a garden. Eat something natural that you grew up out the ground. And if you're not going to do all that, because I know some of y'all not, then at least take the time to not be attached to the things of this world. You want to know how to stay grounded? Meditate. Listen to some grounding frequencies. Walk outside with your bare feet and let your feet touch the earth, the dirt, the grass. Earthing, grounding, hug a tree. The trees have great vibrations. Feel the vibrations. Do not let yourself be consumed with the things of this world. Be ye transformed. Do not conform to the ways of the world. Transform your mind. Transform your body. Transform your spirit. I say this with urgency in all of my being. I will say like I always say, I am not for everybody, and everybody is not for me, baby. I understand it. I get it. But those who I am for, you will understand. You will get this. Know this. Stop watching the news. Somebody up the street got shot the other day, around the corner from your house. You ain't even know, because they didn't report it. A car accident happened. You didn't know, because you missed the news, or they didn't report it. My point is, don't allow those things that are overly projected and overly exposed to you to throw you off balance. Just because everybody is now in a panic. They want everybody to be on the same frequency where everybody has high anxiety, everybody is fearful, everybody is so they can get all of that energy for them. What are they doing with it? Good question. This is so far beyond the things that I can say with words. If I could just put it into words that you might understand. I have it in my head, it just doesn't come out. In this English language is like the worst language ever, because this is not my native tongue. Let that be told. Okay, I'm going on to something else. See, I always do this. Let me explain this. The greatest thing in this life ever is to have a true understanding of yourself. And you might not understand anything that I have said, but if you're watching this, then I know that you have come to my channel and to this video for a reason. So there is a word for you, and this word today is ground yourself. Ground yourself. What does that look like? I just told you. Meditate. Balance the energy within you. Do the things that you love to do. Find peace. Become like a child again. What are some things that you used to love to do when you was a child that just brought you joy for no specific reason? Do those things. Go play in the dirt. Go ride a bike. Do something to take your mind off of what is constantly being brought to the forefront in this world. Yes, it's sad that little children lost their lives. Children die all the time. And I'm not saying it to be insensitive. I'm saying it because it's a fact. It's a fact. There are thousands, unfortunately, of women who go into hospitals to have babies, and the babies are stillborn. But you don't see the news telling you that. Oh, it was 30,000 women across the country who delivered stillborns today. We don't know what the hell is going on. They're not doing that right now. Now, one day they might. But right now, they're not. So I'm just saying. I'm making a point. They are focusing their energies on certain events that affect certain people in certain arenas in certain ways. They know how to play this game. They've been playing it well for centuries. I'm just starting to catch on. And I'm not the only one that's just starting to catch on. A lot of us are starting to catch on. And the fact that we're catching on is a problem for them. And so they have to be more creative with how things are done. And if I could truly explain to you the depth of this thing, it's not just about the system. If you ever seen the movie The Matrix, then think about it. It's kind of like how it works. Kind of. If you've never seen it, if you've never seen any of the Matrix movies, then you might want to start watching those to understand. Now, let me tell you this. You know how I said that the entertainment industry was one of the sectors of the operations with hidden agendas? But there are people also, because there has to be balance, right? Who tell you the truth in plain sight. They show you constantly, but they put it before you like it's a form of entertainment, so they think you won't believe it. But it's the truth, backed by science. If you do your research and you start to educate yourself more than what they taught you in school, because the majority of what they taught in American schools going through the school system is bullshit. They're not teaching these kids half of what they need to know to be productive citizens in life, not society. You know, so it's just like, in order for you to know a truth for yourself, you have to seek it out. You can listen to me all day, but you have to test things for yourself. You have to figure out what's your truth. What is your truth? I'm sharing to you from my own life experiences, from my own knowledge that I've gained through my life experiences, from my own seeking and my own educating myself. That is how I share with you all. But I encourage you to take the time to find out your truth for yourself. There are so many ways to find this truth, okay? Look, I'm going to move the camera while I move, because I got to get something. So, y'all see my baby? That's Pot. I should have did this before I started, but I just want to show y'all something. Just a little bit. All right. This is only a few of what I do. Okay, so this book is called The Power of Now. It's by Eckhart Tolle. Years ago, when I started awakening, this was one of the books that I got. A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment. I'm a reader. I read. A lot of knowledge is found in books. If you want to know the truth, it's in books. That's why in history, they burned a lot of stuff in certain areas, in certain regions of the countries, because they didn't want nobody to know what people had recorded. They didn't want people to know. So this is another book. Alchemy and Mysticism. To have a greater understanding about life. Just period. Like, it's all kinds of stuff, information in these books. Like, I can't even begin to tell y'all like where to start, what to do. But if you take the time to begin your journey, then you will find there is much to learn. This is another book, Chakra Healing. This book is based on, this is a new beginner's guide to self-healing techniques by balancing your chakras. Like, when I started to want to learn more about myself and learn my truth, baby, I had to learn some stuff. I had to start buying books and reading In teaching myself, I had to school myself, because the schools that wanted me to pay them money and the government schools that wanted to educate me didn't educate me on the things that I needed about my life. They only taught me the things that were going to help them, not me. It only helped me to an extent. But for me to break free from that system of thinking and of bondage and enslavement, I had to learn more about myself. I had to understand that there was more to life than this system that this world and this country that I reside in has given me. I had to learn my truth. I had to understand what my truth is. And so therefore, I began to learn about astrology, the 13 moon cycles. I began to learn about Rastafarianism, Bob Marley. I studied Bob for a long time. I wanted to know about his culture and what he thought, because that man was a genius. And he was very prophetic and prolific. And I'm not one to be religious anymore. However, I learned that a lot of religions have some truths within them that are very helpful. They also have secrets, signs, and symbols in their holy books. If you have a greater understanding of science, then when you're reading the Torah or the Holy Writ Bibles or the Gnostic Gospels, then you'll understand the messages, the emerald tablets. You'll understand, you'll get it. Now, I'm just running off things that I know about from things that I've read. Those are titles of books and things that I've read. That's how I stay grounded. I educate myself. I write because that's my thing. Sometimes I just need to be one with my spirit, and I need to connect with my higher self. Because the ego, a lot of times, will get in the way. The ego will have you thinking that you know everything when you really don't. The ego will have you thinking that everything is just going to be okay. Just go along with the get along. No, baby. I guarantee you, if you're watching this video today and you've made it this far in this video, I guarantee you, it's time for you to ground yourself like never before. It's time for you to be on your path and about your business, baby. To live a life of love, joy, peace, happiness. Sorrow gonna come. That's a part of life, baby. Darkness gonna be there. That's a part of life. But you gotta know how to be able to thrive through it. You gotta know how to be able to relate with oneself. How to love yourself before you can relate to others and love others. You have to understand what your true purpose is on this earth. And if you're watching this video, you got one. Because if you didn't have one, you wouldn't even waste time. You wouldn't have even got past the first 5 minutes of this video. So, at this point, I'm going to say you like me. You got a purpose. I want to thank you for your time and your attention and your energy that you have given to sit and listen to me as I have shared with you. May it be given back unto you 100-fold, your time, your energy, your attention. I don't take it lightly. The opportunity that I've been given, the platforms that are available to share. It is important that I do as I am told, for this is the reason why I am here in this season of life. So, again, today I have come forward to inspire your soul to stay grounded during times of traumatic seasons. These seasons are going to be all throughout your life. They're always surrounding you. That does not mean that you have to be engulfed in them or overwhelmed by them. Do know that life happens. It happens all the time. However, in the midst of life, you are to stay grounded and stay focused. Enjoy life, live it. Grow, expand, learn about yourself, learn about the nature of your human body. Learn how to cultivate food that is healthy for you, whether that's you just learning about nutrition and eating different. Learn yourself, love yourself. The bottom line, that's what it all boils down to. I hope I've said something that could help you today. You can follow me on Instagram, Empress Queen Kenya. You can check me out on my website, www.empressqueenkenya.com. And for Tantric, sensual, sexual vibes, you can follow me on Instagram at Empress Queen 55. If you are in need of a spiritual life coach, someone to help you along this journey, guide you, assist you, I am here for you. I have personal life coaching sessions that I offer by the hour. I would be more than glad to help you and assist you in your journey in this life. Also, I do intuitive card readings, oracle card readings. If you're interested in getting your own personal card reading, I will be more than glad to service you in that area as well. It has been my pleasure to speak with you today, to encourage you not to be overwhelmed with the troubles of this world. You are in the world, you are not of it. You are to be transformed, not conform to the ways of the world. Therefore, you must stay grounded within your being and within yourself, your surroundings, so you can vibrate higher. Peace, love, light, and darkness be unto you. Balance. Ashe.